Oh boy, we're going to be editing twin sisters in today's video. No, not these twin sisters, but these twin sisters from Delta Airlines, Boeing 767-400 ERs, November 825 and 826 Mike Hotel. So go ahead and strap in your seats and let's get this video started. So we have Lightroom Classic pulled up for us, and we're going to go ahead and start with 825 Mike Hotel, and we're going to go through the usual steps editing this photo. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the chromatic aberrations, enable the profile corrections for the lens. Then we'll go ahead and check for any dust spots. And since I cleaned the sensor a few days ago, we don't have any on either photo. Go ahead and crop. Go to the upper left-hand corner, press Shift. Go ahead and crop this photo in. These are just going to go up on Instagram. These are not going to be jet photo worthy. I just thought it was cool that I caught sister 767s on Wednesday when I was down at the airport. Go ahead and undo the crop, overlay. And we'll go ahead and check our whites. We got just a tiny little bit right there, probably off the cockpit window. Actually, it's above the door. Check our blacks. And like we always do, just pull the slider to the left till you start seeing some artifacts and then back off. So -11 on the blacks, -35 on the whites. We're going to play with the exposure just a little bit to brighten it up. That should do it right about there, plus 0.60. Zoom in on the main gear. We're going to add a little bit of shadows, probably about plus 30 on the shadows. Highlights we'll play with just a tiny little bit. Say -19 is probably going to be good. I like shooting photos from the Atlanta West parking deck because you can get a more unique perspective. Like here, we can see the landing gear lights on and also the nose gear landing lights illuminated in this photo and the next photo, which is a view that you sometimes don't get if it's West Ops and you're over on the International Park and Ride deck. Add a little bit of dehaze in here, not very much. And now we're clipping in the blacks. So we'll go ahead and back off the blacks till that disappears. And let's see, play with the texture a little bit. We're going to give it a decent bit of texture just to bring out the Delta logo. As you can see, it's kind of faded out a little bit. We're going to bring a little of that back in. I'd say probably about, I'd say about plus 39 on that. And we're clipping in the blacks again. So we'll go ahead and add some blacks. Put that up to +5. clarity. Don't need to add very much clarity to that. Probably 14 looks good, and we'll add some more blacks again since we're clipping once more, plus 11 on the blacks. Let's go ahead and go to noise reduction, and we'll hone in on the tail number. And we'll set the noise reduction at about 85. Looks pretty good. It looks like there's a tiny little bit of heat haze in here, so that's definitely not going to be one that we're going to be posting up on jet photos. So we're clipping in the blacks again. Back up, add just a touch of black. And let's go ahead and do some sharpening. I put it at about 100. Looks pretty good. Sky Team you can kind of make out. We'll play with the radius just a tiny little bit, and the detail will bump just a tiny little bit as well. And the ship number showing up nicely on the nose gear doors. That's looking good there. Just a hair bit more of noise reduction. Go ahead and back out of that, and we're going to go ahead and play with the contrast a little bit. And we're clipping in the blacks again, so we'll go ahead and add some more blacks. That's going to look good. We're going to go ahead and do some sky masking. I want to pop those clouds just a little bit in the background. So we're going to detect the sky, uncheck, and we want to bring the contrast up just a touch. And the dehaze, give it a little more blue sky because it was a really nice afternoon. It just subtly pops those clouds out. And we'll go ahead and uncheck that. Have a look at everything one more time. Yeah, definitely a little bit of heat haze going on that day. It wasn't a particularly warm day Wednesday, but I did definitely get a little bit of sunburn action going on my head, but it was definitely worth it. So that's going to do it for 825. Let's go ahead and bring up 826. So the sun dipped back behind some clouds, so it was just a little bit darker in the photo right out of the camera. So we'll go ahead. Same thing here, chromatic aberrations, enable the profile corrections. Go ahead, check for any dust spots. And these were literally back-to-back photos within 2 minutes of each other, so still no dust spots. Go ahead and do the crop overlay, drag her in. And get everything all lined up. Even if you're not going to publish a photo on Jet Photos, do your editing as if you were going to. That way you can take clear attention with all the editing that you're doing. Go ahead and undo the overlay. And I'm going to pop the exposure up first. And plus 7.70, I think will probably be good. And we'll go ahead and check our whites. Don't have anything going on in the whites. So we're going to add just enough whites where you see artifacts and then just back off until they disappear. Black's the same thing. We're going to take away from the blacks until we start seeing artifacts. And we'll back off there. And of course we're clipping in the blacks, but we'll fix that here in a little bit. Shadows, bring a little bit of detail to the landing gear, not too much, because the sun was pretty much almost straight overhead for this. Play with the dehaze just a touch. And add a cinch of clarity. Little tiny bit on the texture. And again, you can see the landing lights lit up as well as the nose gear lights. And we'll go ahead and add some contrast. About plus 2-3 on the contrast. And we'll go ahead and come down to our noise reduction. Put that on about 80. And we'll come back over to the tail and do some sharpening. That looks really good there. And do a little bit here and a little bit on the detail. And same thing with this one. There's just a little bit of heat haze going on. Can't do much about that. And a little bit more dehaze. Trying to figure out which one's better on the highlights, subtracting or adding. I'd say probably just add a hair. Contrast looks good. Let's go ahead and back off on the blacks since we're clipping. And plus 32 on the blacks. This one's definitely a better photo than 825, even though we had less sun hitting the airplane, which is really weird. But anyways, there's the before and the after on 825. Before and after on 826. Let's go ahead and do some sky masking again real quick. Uncheck. A little bit more contrast to the clouds. And a little bit more dehaze just to make those clouds pop out, and undo the mask. And I think that's going to do it. We'll go ahead and export both of these photos out. Okay, now that we've got the photos exported, let's go ahead and have a look at them. And go ahead and open with Photos Viewer. That looks pretty nice. And that looks pretty nice as well. And looking good on our twin sister photo edit. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this quick editing video. Just wanted to get some content out there. I'm probably going to do a live stream later on today and do a flight in FSX. But if you enjoyed this video, please like, smash that subscribe button, and make a comment. And this is Michael with the Sky's Limit Aviation channel, wishing you all a wonderful day and have a great weekend. Until the next video, guys, see ya. Take care. Bye-bye now.